you know I gotta slide in a little LL somewhere, change it up on you a little, and that's a different. That's kind of different version.
It is
because we know the other version. So if I dip back, I had to mix it up, not just give you the typical traditional. But we go back now to the East Coast, and I'll get to talk to a gentleman who has coached in the college and pro ranks for years. In fact, he coached at the Cincinnati Bengals after the former All-Pro NFL quarterback Jeff Blake was there. Nonetheless, 8 years under Marvin Lewis, and then now champions in the FCS world at Princeton University. A good friend of mine, a former teammate, Bob Surace. Bob, welcome back.
Hi, Jeff. Hi, Foss. How you guys doing?
I'm doing good.
Doing well.
Good.
Again, congratulations. You'll be defending your conference championship. Also here with Spencer Conley as well, Coach Surace. You are one guy who I do know has no issue with coming in and recruiting the state of Texas, and also you have for the last 2 years had at least one person drafted off your football team who are doing extremely well in the National Football League. Is that because you've had the coaching prior to being a college coach that knows how to prepare your team not just to win in your conference, but also, if they so choose, have the opportunity and ability to play in the National Football League?
Yeah, well, obviously they have to have the ability to play first and foremost, and being able to recruit the nation. And there's a lot of guys right in your backyard that are just outstanding football players and students that we're able to hopefully bring up to Princeton. But that's first and foremost, they have that talent, and then hopefully we can set a game plan with them and get them in position so they can reach their potential and be the best football players they can be. And to have back-to-back guys selected certainly is something we're very proud of, and proud of them and how hard they've worked to accomplish that.
Bob, you have, again, as we mentioned, been a coach in the NFL, and then now in Division I college football, Division I AA. What are the similarities and what are the differences?
Well, the biggest, the similarities are the nature of the game. And it's funny, we take from high schools, pros take from us, we take from the pros, but we're constantly working to find ways to be better on offense, defense. And we're seeing these great offenses, a lot of them right in your backyard at, the A&Ms and Baylors and Texas and what they're doing. And NFL teams are copying that and running very similar style offenses. And a lot of those guys who are running those offenses started at the high school ranks and ran them there first. So those are the similarities. The differences are in the NFL, you select guys. So if we want to draft a specific player, you better get them in the right round, right place, right time, and they're obligated, if they're going to play football, to play on your team. In college, you have to recruit them. You have to, make sure they're excited and they see all the opportunities, both during their 4 years of college and beyond, that a place like maybe Princeton can get with them.
We're talking with Coach Bob Surace, head coach of the Ivy League champion Princeton Tigers, also former NFL coach with the Cincinnati Bengals. We've been doing a lot of discussion back and forth, and you talk about excitement. Doesn't that excitement need to be experienced as well, though, when it's your job in the NFL? And, you got accolades being on the same team as Jason Garrett. You were his center in his final years in college now, and you now are both head coaches. Very interesting dynamic that you as the center and he as the quarterback now coaching and head coaches. What two things in general do you all share between the two of y'all?
Well, I think the biggest thing is there's a lot of shared in terms of the philosophies. We both believe in the process and doing things right that way. So we're believing in this process and how you do it. And then the second part is, I think both of us believe you got to play this game with urgency and practice the right way in everything we do. I hope what I'm doing, everything we're doing as professionals at the college level, in spite of the fact we are limited in the work hours that we can be with the players.
All right. Well, Bob, I know you've been down here I know you've been to Houston. I know you've been to Dallas. I know you've run through Austin. What about San Antonio? We're sitting in San Antonio. Any interest? Because I think that this is a tremendous hotbed of high school football here in the 210.
Well, the state of Texas itself is just phenomenal, and obviously there's rules. I can't talk about specific.
Sure. Yes. Right.
But in terms of, not only, because there are other states that also have really good football, but Texas really combines unbelievable football with just these tremendous young men, and they're coached well. The high school coaches in that state are just tremendous, and they're in the schooling they're getting puts them in line where they can be admissible to an Ivy League school. So every year, year in, year out, Texas is not only sending guys to the major colleges that you see on TV on Saturday nights or you see in the championship games, they're also sending them to these our Ivy League schools, and our Ivy League is always littered with a number of players from there.
Absolutely. Bob, also, if you look at the conference as a whole, there are several players that make it into the NFL each year if you look at the conference as a whole, not just Princeton University, others, Cornell and, Harvard, and there's a lot of players, Columbia, that have, well-known players coming from the conference, and that means that the conference seems to be selecting student athletes that can certainly compete anywhere, especially if they're able to make it and even get drafted in the NFL.
Yeah, and the two things that I know, that Jason Garrett and the great NFL head coaches, Marvin Lewis, who I worked with, but the guys, they value smart players, and I think our guys are able to digest a playbook at that level, which has become increasingly more complicated, in recent times. And the other thing you're getting is guys who know how to work, and our guys are tremendous workers, and I'm sure that's the same with the rest of the Ivy League, but I'm always, even when I was a player, when I was a young guy and I was looking up to you and those other guys, I was led the right direction because you guys had the right work ethic and you understood how hard, we didn't do things differently than they were done at, Texas or Nebraska. We did them the right way. And so when I'm telling you guys and how hard you worked and then leading the guys below me, we just continued, and that's how we got the program on about a 15-year run at Princeton to be successful.
We're talking with Coach Bob Surace at Princeton University. Let me tell you, Spencer Conley, who's here with us, does a lot of motivational speaking, and in particular, college level. Spencer, your thoughts, if you've heard Coach Surace, your thoughts about reaching out to folks that would be in this Ivy League situation, defending champions. How would you go about addressing a crowd like that? You've been very outspoken this weekend about making the man.
Steve, for me, is one, communication, understanding verbiage. And I think and a lot of times with coaches, you can't expect what you don't inspect. So a lot of times coaches say things and they expect their players to truly understand them. Like I've heard Coach Surace say over and over, we do things the right way. Exactly what is that? Can you guarantee in detail that all of your players really understand what the right way is, or what leadership really is, or what being involved in a team really is? Because we come from different backgrounds, so we all have different expectations. If I ask Jeff, he'd give one definition. I ask you, we give one definition. You ask me, I'll give you a definition. You ask Bob, he'll give you another. Now, so when I speak that, everybody is going to respond to whatever they believe that definition is. So I'm expecting them to understand when I speak, but do they really understand what I'm saying when I speak? So when you have a winner or a championship, in being consistent, we have to make sure that our kids are really understanding what our expectations are.
And again, that probably doesn't matter what the definition is, as long as that definition gets across and clear.
It's clear and it's understood.
And everyone is on the same page.
Right. And what happens, everybody's not.
And clarity.
Because all of us, your first perspective of team is your family. So if you come, no matter how smart you are, if you have the grades to go to Ivy League school or anywhere, junior college, your perspective of team comes from your family. If that family is out of dysfunction or if you function out of selfishness, whatever you see is what you believe team is. So that's why all across the country, you'll come to a guy and I'll say, hey, Jeff, I need you to be a better leader, Jeff. And you're like, what do you mean, coach? I threw 8 touchdowns. I ran for 200 yards. What do you mean? No, you're a good player, but that doesn't make you a great leader. And these kids don't understand that. They don't understand that. And so we have to be clear on our expectations of young people and stop expecting things that we don't inspect. You can't expect what you don't inspect.
So when you inspect, how does Coach Surace inspect his defending championship team?
And being clear on how he wants to go about his business. Because, see, and that's difficult for me to say because Coach knows the mindset and attitude. I would have to visit with him about that, of the guys that he has and his coaching staff. And I think doing anything twice, being consistent and not expecting people to lay down like we see in Texas, with UT, not expecting people to lay down, that you have to prove it again because now that you're a champion, you've become a measuring stick every week. Can we beat Princeton? Even if we do, if that's the only team that we beat, because they're now the measuring stick, now we have something to build off if we beat them.
Well, Coach, as well as I do, because we spoke offline, the new guys are coming in. So I just wanted, as your guy, as your former teammate and a guy that was more than happy to bring you around because I love offensive linemen when you came on campus. I wanted to give you something free from us laying down the law. Spencer is tremendous, and he does this for a lot of folks. So I was greedy and selfish in wanting you to get a little bit of what the flavor is in our studio with the talent like Spencer. And I'm trying to get him to come up to Jason's football camp. However, you may beat Jason to the punch, and I will say I'm pretty sure Spencer would go to my alma mater and give a little time of himself to Coach Surace and the defending Ivy League champ.
One of those things, and I'm speaking to the team tonight, and when I get in there, my message is we're not defending the title, we're pursuing our next one.
There you go.
And I've been doing this camp, and Steve and I, Foss and I have been on co-coaches for like 9 out of 10 years.
Right.
And we get second or third place every year. And I'm thinking, it's Steve that's bringing me down. So this year they split us up. And guess who wins the championship? Foss. Foss is running around the field. We got all these professional coaches, college head coaches. Foss wins the title. So we'll see how he can pursue his title next year because I'm gunning for him next summer.
And you should, Coach. And you should.
Hey, Bobby, just bring the band back together. Just bring the staff back together. I will share. I need an Ivy League championship shirt, and then you can have that championship shirt with Jason Garrett in the summer. It is a tremendous opportunity for kids from all 5 boroughs in New York and northern Jersey. Spencer and Jeff, they're predominantly black. It's an unbelievable opportunity for them to come down on campus. I can't thank Jason and Brill enough and the university and Coach Surace in opening the doors to have 300-plus kids on campus and everybody involved. And I just wanted to show off a little and, say that we get college and pro coaches on the show as well that are doing wonderfully well and can't thank you enough. And there's anything that we can do. Like I said, I'm going to send Spencer up to you, Coach. And
awesome.
Whenever
well,
you can fit it in, Coach.
Thank you, Foss. I'm going to need you for Jason's camp, too, because if I'm not on Foss's team and I lose again, it was devastating afterwards.
Spencer gets on me and says, you always got to win. I said, well, that's just something that I come to expect, and I enjoy it, and it does not make others happy, but I'm very and highly competitive, and I want to be a good sport about it. I do not like to be on the short end of the deal, and I know, Coach, you're going to do well. It's a great conference, and you know that you're getting folks like Karan Reed on the Lions and our man on the Chiefs and
Mike Catapano, yep.
Yes. So it's great to be able to visit with them, and they've done where it all began. We were the ones that started college football, a great service, and we certainly look forward to this season can't wait. It's already kicked off with Eastern Washington and Sam Houston State. So best of luck to you. If you need anything, you know how to catch up with me, and we certainly appreciate you coming on today. And get some more student athletes from Texas up there. And
I'm gonna steal your plays too. If ours don't work, I'm stealing yours.
Okay, man.
we couldn't stop you.
I tell you, I would love to be an offensive coordinator, man. That would be my lane to be in, and I love it. I enjoy it. It's one of the greatest games of all time ever. Thank you for being my teammate, friend, and a lot more, man. So have a great season, and we look forward to having you.
Best wishes to you, Coach.
Thank you so much. Thank you both.
All right. Take care.
Coach.
All right. Bob Surace, man. He's from the Bengals world.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So, nothing wrong with that.
Did you enjoy the city of Cincinnati, Jeff?
I did. I had a lot of growing pains there, but in order to get better, you got to have some pains. You know. So
let's do this. Let's take a sidebar
it was good.
real quick, and then come back, close out the show. There's some football on, like
Close
we said,
it out.
San Francisco against the Chargers, and a lot more. By the time we get back, we'll know something about A&M. We'll know something about the University of Texas, and we'll know something about who's going to make those final rosters.
We got a little high school football coming up?
Yes, we do as well.
There we go.
Absolutely. So stay with us. We're going to get right back at you and say our goodbyes and farewells for this weekend, and then go home, watch some football, have some good food, and see what we can see right here on Laying Down the Law.